Beautiful day. It is presently March 18th, 2026. Okay. And this is Living to Die, Dying to Live, episode 8 in our series. Okay. So, um, yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm just glad that I'm feeling much better than I did yesterday. Um, when I left off with yesterday's energy reading, I I would be going by the water to spend some time by the water. The cards came out confirming that that was what I needed to do for myself. And that's what I did. And I'm glad that I did because I had training last night, a Zoom training for business. And after that, I snacked on some chips, some junk food. And then I went to bed, got some rest, got up, did a little bit of chores, as far as folding laundry or whatnot. And yeah, talk to my coach, my mentor, get some things ironed out with my schedule, and here we go. I'm ready to sit down and do this reading. So I didn't want to delay it any longer than I already have. So I'm undecided as to which deck I want to start with. I'm just trying to fill out the energy, as I do my updates. But yes, I'm very excited. There's a lot that I'm presently working on. Things are coming together beautifully, and I am just taking everything one day at a time. So, with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's start out with another chakra alignment message. I'm loving how the messages have been tying together. The synchronicities have been, even at this stage in my journey, amazing me. Just, I'm grateful to have the awareness and being on this side of the awakening where I'm able to support others and helping them to realize you're not going crazy. You're not losing your mind. There's a lot to this, and there's a lot that has been purposely kept from us, hidden from us, and now we're learning better so that we're able to do better, be better, have better, experience better, all that. All right. So let's get into it. I trust, hope, and pray that wherever you are in the world, that you are well, mind, body, and spirit. That's a nice stack. All right. So we have number 36, divine wisdom, our solar plexus chakra. Okay. We have number 4, grounding, our earth star chakra. We have number 6, balance, okay, our root chakra. And we have number 24, listening, which is our throat chakra, okay? I've recently heard it being said on several occasions that, the biggest part of being an effective communicator is being a good listener, you know? So we know blue is our throat chakra, helping us to be more confident in our communication and our speaking and our dialogue. What we listen to, what we take in, what we learn, um, what we hear is going to play a big part in what comes out, what goes in, what comes out, what goes in your ears, and what comes out your mouth. Okay. So we want to make sure that the things that we are listening to are uplifting. If you are a person who You know that your life has purpose, you have important things to do, you are responsible for, you know, people, leading them, coaching them, guiding them, supporting them. You want to make sure that you're doing that from a healthy place for sure. Okay. So, yeah, we also have Spiritual Awakening 29 on the bottom of the deck, which has most definitely been um, relevant thus far this week. Today's Wednesday. I believe it has come up both Monday and Tuesday in the energy from our Crystal Oracle message. What else did we see? I think it came up yesterday from our African Goddess Rising. Um, Awakening was definitely here. So, you know, the crown, third eye chakra, we're becoming more in alignment with, our life purpose. And as part of that, our connection with the divine, whether we are getting our insight and wisdom from our good holy books, our spiritual teachings, um, or we're getting it, from life experience, and God just using our vessels, um, as a tool to have experiences that we're able to, later share and teach others, right from wrong. Okay. Because I got a feeling that, not only do I talk to leaders primarily, but also, teachers. Okay. Put those over there. Put this over here. Let's get into these messages. So I'm seeing 94 and 66. These are just numbers that may stick out or may be relevant to someone somewhere. You can, do what I do and look up the angel numbers to see what messages resonate with you. Okay. Just simply, whatever search engine you use. I'm not promoting any of them, but typing in the actual number and what does this angel number mean? Or what does this mean in angel numbers? That's, you know, what you could do to simplify that process. Um, so as we study, we research, we have life experiences. It is important for us to be able to, you know, ground that energy to harmonize and become balanced so that we're able to apply what we've learned to be able to make our lives more, to enhance our lives, to improve um, how we exist, how we live, how we transmute energy for those that are creators and manifestors, having the tools and resources, is one thing, but actually using them, learning from them, and applying, what we've learned is how we're able to, like I said, enhance and improve, our lives, okay, for the better. As we become more grounded, practical, and balanced in our knowing, in our understanding, in our awareness, we gain greater value where more people recognize, what it is that we have to offer, what we have to share, teach, and they want to listen, they want to learn from you. Okay. So practicing what you teach, what you preach, you know, is very important here in this energy, is what I'm getting in summary. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and see about the soul's journey lessons, affirmations, further insight. All right. We have doubt here. And the affirmation for doubt is I release the need to know all the answers. That definitely goes with this divine wisdom, the colors, but also the idea, you know. We have access, a great deal of access to a wide range of, tools, whether they be books, lectures, podcasts, um, people, that are full of wisdom, that are informed, that are teachers, via different networks and um, like social media and all that type of stuff. People that share their wisdom, they give guidance, they give instruction, you know, they teach. So you don't necessarily have to know everything, you can commit a certain time, a, like when I say a certain time, like let's say it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day, or more if you have that type of time and care that much into studying and learning from those who teach what you want to, know and understand better. Okay. So with doubt is I release the need to know all the answers because you know that you have access, to the answers as long as you have access to the tools and so forth. Okay. We have another D here with discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. This has come out several times here recently as well. Yesterday we had all like purple indigo energy. Um I mentioned recently about indigo children. So I reflected on that after the reading as well. But that purple, that's our third eye, our pineal gland, which is also in alignment with awakening energy, our crown, um, gaining greater awareness and understanding, not just in the 3D, the physical, realm, but, the spiritual aspects, being able to align with divinity and the 5D and seeing things, on a higher level, being able to comprehend, understand, interpret things, you know, on another level. Okay. We have another green here with humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Okay. So with this coming out with grounding, I'm getting that and balance that it's important for us to remember not to be so hard on ourselves in this process. It can be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, even physically sometimes taxing. And, with ascending and, just processing, new knowledge, new energy, and so forth, it can have its effects on how we feel. And to balance it all, with what's serious, what matters, what's important, with the things that are more like lighthearted, humorous, laughing is, they said, is the best medicine. You know, I've recently gotten a couple good laughs, and I got that reminder through those experiences that, laughter is indeed a source of medicine that we sometimes need to counteract all of the seriousness in the world, because as I've shared previously, and like I said, people that know me in real life, they know that I'm a pretty serious person. I take my life, my purpose, my mission, my goals, my responsibilities, everything very serious. So, you know, I have to work towards being on the more lighter, lighthearted side of things, and, just not feel bad for getting a good laugh in or doing something fun, you know. Yeah, usually when I need that, I'll spend time with my family, you know, and like my sister and my nephews and so forth. My sister's a big clown. Like she, likes to be the comedian in the family, wants to make everybody laugh. And, her children, my nephews have, you know, taken that on from her a little bit. So, when I do need that, I know where to go to get a good laugh. It's family time. Okay. And I definitely do balance, um, my work with family. Okay, finding a good healthy balance with that. So yesterday, all of the synchronicities, like I said, was with purple. And now today we're seeing a bunch of green with a little bit of purple. We have gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Okay. So again, that comes, down to us recognizing that even in all the seriousness, all the war, all the tragedy, all the, unfortunate things that are transpiring in the world right now, there is still beauty. There is still, good things happening, and that we need to be grateful for that. You know, like a good friend that I follow his work, he shared in a post yesterday about, as long as we have a roof over our head, food in the refrigerator, you know, a means of transportation, whether it be our own, vehicle, or we have access to, you know, um, use things like Uber and, Lyft, ride share to get to point A, point B, where we need to get to, do what we need to do, work and so forth, to change our situations. That is a lot to be grateful for. And I have that understood, but I'm always grateful that when I hear people speak of things like that, that have a voice and a platform, and people that follow them and listen to them, to remind them as well. We all need reminders from time to time, because life can beat us up, and we can find ourselves so down and consumed, and distracted and delayed and, just displeased with life, So the good people that are there to remind us and keep us focused and grounded and, you know, mentally stable are important. They matter. All right. So we have judgment here. And the affirmation for judgment is I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Okay. On the bottom of the deck here, we're back at the orange here with forgiveness. This is more or less sacral chakra. I said the divine wisdom was, solar plexus, but this could be considered, a little bit between, solar and sacral, which they're next to each other in our lower region, our core area, which is, in combination, the solar plexus chakra is where we house things like our um, self-esteem, self-respect, self-confidence, those important things. And the color is more along the lines of yellow or golden, while the orange and the reddish orange is sacral. That's our life force energy, our creativity, our creative energy, that type of stuff, vitality. So gaining, a greater understanding of, what that is, how we're able to balance and improve that um, is going to be helpful in what we do. Having the energy that we need, having the confidence to do what we need to do, and so forth. Okay. So, with forgiveness here, the affirmation is I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. We don't want blockages. Okay. This is here under listening. Okay. So, listening to the divine wisdom, and we know forgiveness is important in the realm of, just um spiritual lessons, I'll call it, divine wisdom. A lot of times you'll hear people say that when I forgive someone, it's not necessarily me doing it for them, it's doing it for myself, you know, and we do things sometimes that are, you know, of a selfish nature, but it's important, for us to be selfish sometimes so that we're in better position to be more selfless. So if someone is encouraging you to, you know, release some sort of resentment or, you know, um, just ill will or negativity or, hurt or pain that somebody or, some group or whatever, whoever, wherever, however may have, trespassed upon you, that forgiveness, that forgiving, you should potentially, really heavily consider that and do your best to do that so that you're able to, you know, be better, feel lighter, you know, um, have more peace and so forth. Okay. Because you understand with judgment and the affirmation being, that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Okay. And sometimes we're here to, teach people how to love better and be better, you know, by forgiving them, but also not forgetting how they may have caused us hurt and pain and, allowing them to move on, you move on. And if you want to, love them from a distance. Okay. It's your decision. right, since we have the green here, we're going to use our elemental tarot deck to see. That I saw judgment twice. If it comes out, then there's a message of relevance there for us. Okay, we have the Seven of Fire, which is the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Earth, and the World. So we have two sevens here. With the World. So with the starting with the Seven of Wands, I'm trying to get the picture from the traditional tarot in my mind, but it's not coming to me really clear. So let me look at something before I expand on that. It's probably going to come to me afterwards when I start looking for it like it normally does. Yeah, that's the Seven of Pentacles, which I saw that one. Okay, so that's what it was. So in the traditional deck, the Seven of Wands is someone having to defend and protect, you know, what it is that they believe. I'm hearing with this divine wisdom. Um, I'm hearing their territory. With the Seven of Pentacles, their resources. I'm hearing someone is feeling the need potentially to relocate with the world here or travel to be able to do that more confidently, which is a message that I did receive also earlier this week, or it might have been last week. Um, but someone has a desire to feel more balanced, more grounded, more stable, potentially even have a more simplified life where they're able to do the work that they feel like they're here to do. Okay, with the discipline and divine wisdom, someone may have a desire to study more, to teach more, to be more, to do more, to have more. Okay. And more doesn't necessarily always mean in a material way with, like materialistic, superficial things, just being able to preserve their resources, um, to be able to um, I'm seeing like stretch, have, um, that was the male, the male people, and to deliver is what came to mind. But I'm hearing special delivery. What is all this coming to mind all of a sudden? Someone most definitely has a special gift, and they're feeling like they may not be able to share that, express that to the degree in which, their purpose may call for. So potentially someone's feeling like they may not be responding to or answering the call to the degree in which the divine is asking them to here with divine wisdom and listening. So they're going within with the spiritual awakening and seeking higher wisdom, understanding to make the decisions that they need to make to be able to do what they need to do, go where they need to go, to be more in alignment, more present. Very interesting. Definitely, I'm getting someone has a desire to travel the world, and wanting to do that comfortably. Okay, we have the Three of Water with the High Priestess. So that is the Three of Cups and the High Priestess energy. Um, there may be someone that I don't know why I'm getting off potentially biting off more than they can chew or holding on to um connections. The cups in this situation is giving me like connections, third party type of energy, um, situationships or relationships that are out of alignment with someone's truth and where they're going, what they have a desire to do, become, and experience. Okay. If someone is looking for more balance, you know, in a balanced situation, we're looking at the yin and the yang here, you know, three's a crowd, especially if we're looking at like partnership, marriage, union, um, having a healthy, stable, grounded foundation in that regard. Um, and this high priestess energy, this could be someone that has a great deal of wisdom, insight, guidance, and they may be playing the background I'm hearing to some sort of, connection or relationship, but they're sitting on their throne. So, they matter. They're very valuable. This may be a teacher, a mentor, um, a messenger with listening being here. This could be someone who helps supports others in gaining clarity in what relationships or connections is best for them and the directions in which they're headed. If you're at a stage in your life where it's making sense to disconnect, you know, from relationships, environments, people, opportunities that are kind of like distractions. They're not necessarily nourishing, you and your life the way that they need to, or you need them to. So someone with this high priestess energy is either reflecting and figuring that out for themselves, you know, through their divine connection with source, or they are seeking guidance, support from, you know, someone that they trust, or they are that person for others. I'm hearing people listen and trust this energy. We have the Knight of Water, the Knight of Cups. So this is what I'm picking up, a masculine energy that could be pretty creative. Um, okay, with the Hierophant coming out, with the High Priestess, someone who has a desire to get married, have a union, a higher level of commitment. With this Hierophant and High Priestess, this could be people that have a mission and purpose together to teach, you know, from a spiritual perspective. They are representative of what true and divine love is. And through their harmonizing, through their connection, through their leadership, they are going to be examples of that. They're going to teach that, you know, people are going to learn from their example, is what I'm getting here with the High Priestess and the Hierophant. And the Knight of Water with the Three of Cups, as I was picking up earlier, three's a crowd. So whether it's just three or more, you know, relationships, connections, and people that someone has to let go of, to have the balance that they seek, to be grounded and stable, you know, within their beliefs. Okay, we have the Two of Fire, the Ace of Earth, and the Seven of Water. So we have 777 here. Okay. The Seven of Cups is confusion, lack of clarity, being unsure of, you know, what's what, who's who, what makes the most sense. The Ace of Pentacles here is, I'm getting from this angle, is a divine message that is coming through, that has come through, or will come through, that is going to provide clarity, that is going to provide, probably this Knight of Cups energy, or a High Priestess and Hierophant energy independently, you know, what their purpose is together. Um, Yeah, that was pretty cut and dry. The spiritual awakening is, you know, these energies recognizing that they have a responsibility that is greater than them, and that, 777, this connection is like hitting a jackpot. Okay. It will remove all doubts, all remove the doubts, because that's what the 7 of cups is. 7 of water is the lack of clarity. Sounds like doubt to me, you know, through their faith, their beliefs, they're able to have divine dialogue. We spoke about that yesterday. Divine dialogue to get the clarity needed to make the moves that, you know, are desired to be made. Look at that. We have the world in between these two. I never noticed that before in this deck. But if you look at the 2 of wands, the 2 of fire here, we see a world in between the torches. And this is the world card. So we have the world here twice. With the high priestess and the hierophant. We know our aces are from the hand of God. Okay. So the clarity that is coming through, the resources, you know, we don't have the pentacles here today, but we've had them most definitely within the last few readings. I'm lying. We do have, that's what the earth is, okay? The pentacles here. So the 7 of pentacles is reflecting, taking time to balance your checkbook, to I'm seeing QuickBooks in my head. That's why I said that. Taking the time to consider, what resources you have, um, your investments, what you have a potential to earn, and then whatever blessings are coming in from the divine that you don't even know about yet, but you know that you've been doing the work on and within yourself. You've been trusting and believing, having faith, praying, fasting, studying, teaching, speaking. And if you've been preaching, you've been practicing what you've been preaching. You've been removing your own doubts and overcoming them while supporting others and doing the same. You've been an example to help people to be more disciplined as a hierophant and high priestess in their studies and applying what they're studying and learning to their lives, whether that is praying more, you know, fasting more, being present, meditating more, honoring thy vessel, thy body, All of the above. With this Knight of Water here and the Hierophant and High Priestess and the Three of Water, I'm seeing this from a different perspective as being a love child potentially. Um, a divine masculine like Christ, Horus, okay, Jesus, because in the Hierophant, in this deck, you're seeing someone that is, it looks like reading to children. So this could be someone who is a writer that writes books for children, writes children's books, who teaches children. That could be something that this divine masculine and divine feminine share in common. That's crazy. I felt like as I was saying that, I felt a little pressure right here. And we have life purpose underneath that. That's so crazy. Like, wow, that's deep. That's confirmation for me, for sure. I felt that like I had to say it because I was thinking about it and I was trying to articulate it, like translate what I was picking up when I seen, the detail with the Hierophant here and knowing what the High Priestess, energy represents, and just seeing those two together in alignment with balance, gratitude, listening, judgment, like the higher purpose, the life purpose of these two, what they have acquired knowledge wise, wisdom wise, independently, individually is, merging, it's coming together. They're going to balance one another, they're going to help one another, they're going to support one another. And then look at that. We have the high priestess with the eye of Horus there on her, um what are those things called, with the sun and the moon on her pillars that she's sitting in between. I don't know if the light is allowing to pick it up, but the pillars that she's sitting in between, there's an eye of Horus on both sides. One has the sun, one has the moon. The two of these individuals have, different backgrounds, different perspectives, you know, spiritually, but they have a lot to teach and give birth to. And what they're giving birth to is deeper than, you know, the love child, you know, it's a lot deeper than, that's important, that's relevant, and that's confirmation. But what that love child is going to, it's crazy because I've been seeing recently, um different places that I go. There was this one area that I used to frequent with this old grocery store I used to go to, and one of the churches said Jesus is coming or something like that. And I haven't seen that in that location because I haven't been going that way or going there for a while. But I've been seeing that same message in other locations, like Jesus is coming, and I've recently started seeing it more again, after not seeing it for a while. And that's definitely what this energy is representing. Okay. We have the Tower card here. So there's some fast changes that are going to transpire, um, where someone may have been resistant or holding on to um, some sort of relationship situations that have been holding them back and keeping them stuck, you know, with God coming through and, shifting the energy. There's no stronghold, no contract that is going to be able to withstand whatever that shift is going to do, what it's going to be designed to do with this tower energy. Okay. So where someone may have been holding on some sort of safety net or security or something like that, through some sort of contracts or contractual agreements, the 777 is letting us know that, you know, the divine blessings with this Ace of Pentacles, what God has for these energies is bigger than anything any human or human like contracts or whatever can judgment. Because judgment came up twice, I'm being moved to read that from the Soul's Journey lesson because it didn't come out the deck earlier, but I mentioned that I saw it. So I'm curious to see what the message is here. All right, so judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. And this is relevant here with this tower energy. So let's hold them together for the people in the back. We are all spirit. We are all the same. It's only the roles we have chosen to play here on earth that makes us seem different. The biggest lesson you have chosen to learn is to love. There are so many situations in the physical dimension that it is possible to incarnate into, but the core lesson is to look past these illusions and see yourself in everyone. Each soul has chosen its own struggles, and your task is not to judge how someone goes about overcoming these obstacles, but to assist that soul. Spirit has given you to the tools of compassion and empathy to help you see through the eyes of those who appear different. Your ego has taught you that making other people feel insignificant or inferior will allow you to feel better about yourself. That is an illusion. By diminishing others, you diminish yourself. Always learn to follow the golden rule. I will treat others as I would like to be treated. Everyone in your life is here to teach you something about yourself. Accept the lesson with love and understanding. Yeah, that makes sense for who it makes sense for in regards to, what we have here. This could be someone, you know, the tower in this card has a great deal of materialism here. Um, and people flying up in the air in flames, where their world is, changing drastically. We have the moon and another seven. So we got all four sevens on the table. the seven of swords, the seven of air with the moon. So the moon is something that stood out to me here with the Hierophant and the High Priestess energy. Um, that's confirming that these two have a very spiritual connection. There's been some telepathic communication. You know, these two have like a very divine telepathic communication. There are energies, masculine and feminine. I'm hearing like, you know, brothers and sisters of the light that support these two individually and collectively. Um, and they matter. They matter. Look at that with the emperor on the bottom of the deck. I cannot, I cannot make this up. Okay. This is the emperor here with the world under his feet, you know, ready to live in his truth, ready to truly embody and embrace his purpose, his life purpose, and do what God has called him to do. Angel number 7777. Okay, so really quickly, angel number 777 is a powerful sign of spiritual alignment, luck, and personal growth, suggesting you are on the right path in life. It encourages introspection, self discovery, and trusting the universe's direction. Frequently seeing 777 indicates that your efforts are aligning with your true purpose, bringing positive energy, potential prosperity, and deeper, more harmonious relationships. I literally said that earlier, but let me see what it says with four sevens. Okay. Angel number 7777 is a powerful, highly positive omen, signifying that you are on the right life path, aligning with your soul's purpose. This is literally our um soul's journey lesson card deck. Okay. And that your hard work is yielding rewards. It represents spiritual awakening. What does that say? Spiritual awakening, manifestation of desires, and a call to trust your inner wisdom, which is what the high priestess and hierophant energy represents. It indicates imminent success, financial abundance, and and deepened harmonious relationships. Career and finance. Seeing 7777 suggests you should pursue new business ventures or career changes as they are likely to bring financial growth and reward your efforts. In spirituality, it encourages diving deeper into introspection, embracing your role as a seeker, and trusting your intuition over ego driven doubts. For love and twin flames, in relationships, it signals a phase of deepening trust, patience, and open communication. It often, it is often a harbinger of a twin flame reunion, marking a time for reconciliation and spiritual homecoming. I was getting that as well. I didn't say it. Fascinating. For personal growth, it encourages continuing to be a positive example as your journey is inspiring others. Okay, so the synonyms and related themes for 7777 is spiritual enlightenment, awakening, divine validation and guidance, manifestation of miracles, abundance and prosperity, alignment, and being on the right path. Essentially, 7777 is a confirmation from the universe to keep moving forward with confidence as you are in a phase of significant personal, spiritual, and material expansion. These messages have been very consistent around, you know, abundance and prosperity. We definitely had abundance come out again yesterday from our chakra alignment deck. But with this Emperor here, got the Four of Wands behind that. This is definitely a divine masculine that has been um, working diligently to build a solid foundation for, you know, a divine union, for a family, you know, a higher level of commitment. The Four of Wands, that's the 1111, you know. This is someone who God created to rule the world, because the world was most definitely one of the cards that came out first, okay? And it's here several times, including under the Emperor's boot. So there will be traveling over, you know, with 777, I heard like seven seas or something like that. I was trying to get out earlier, but I couldn't translate it. The seven wonders of the world or something like that. So since this went so deep and so spiritual, we are going to close it with an Isis oracle. How long have we been on here? Over an hour. Okay. Wow. All right. That is so crazy. I was listening to something earlier while I was getting dressed, brushing my teeth, doing my makeup, and this card literally came to mind when whatever I was listening to said whatever it said. I was like, this is that card from the Isis Oracle. And if you saw it fly out, how it flew out, I cannot make this stuff up. I can't make it up if I tried. Look at her headpiece and the images, and right here. Mm, 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 mm. I remember I used to run from my spiritual gifts. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I was gonna wear my earrings today, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just wear the gold, hoops, keep it simple. And I didn't have to, the messages still came clear as day. I've been 39 for 1 week as of today. And for whatever reason, Orion's Oracle just came to mind. If you're from Columbia, South Carolina, if you've ever visited, because he has people that travel from all over to come visit him in his store, but he has unks, you know, the key to eternal life right there. If you're not familiar with what the Ankh is, Ankh, lined up in like the parking spaces in front of his store. Um, that's the one that's on Broad River. He has another one near the VA, Garner's Ferry Road. But yeah, the Ankh. He gifted me those earrings that I got some underlining underline some paragraphs here on this chapter or this card, but I'm gonna read the whole thing because in closing, the dark mysteries enter the chamber of the dark goddess. The dark goddess calls you to her inner chamber where she holds a test and a gift for you. The test is your willingness to meet and release the fears within that have been secretly holding you back. The gift is freedom, peace, opportunity, and prosperity in all its forms. Will you accept her call? Your time for deeper initiation is here. This is deep because it's stuff that I'm not going to share that have transpired within the last literally 12 to 24 hours where I just needed to go by the water and just reflect and process some information, get caught up on the readers that I listen to, that help keep me sane in this world to remind me that I'm not crazy in all of this. Okay. The confirmation, the ones that I get my confirmation from, get caught up with that. I did that by the water yesterday, fell asleep in the car, taking a nap, and getting just soaking up the sun. And what I just read in that one line was just all up and through. When the dark goddess calls you, it is a life changing experience. It is not always easy, but the rewards for those brave enough to answer her call and enter her inner chamber are tremendous indeed. The rewards are a life lived more fearlessly, the gift of loving and being just who you are in truth without having to impress or bow to another out of fear of rejection. It is a more open and expansive way to live, and it attracts the bounty of the Dark Mother. Her gifts of love, opportunity, peace, and prosperity, well being, and wisdom. It takes a strong soul to go through this test and into the liberation it delivers. But you are ready, dear initiate of the light. The dark goddess calls you to initiation when you have been working on your own shadow, bringing your whole self to light. During such times, we often need help as shadow work can be uncomfortable, painful, or just quite difficult to undertake as we are working with with unconscious material. Trying to bring it into the light of our of our conscious awareness, working with the shadow, the parts of us that we have deemed unlovable, or the parts that seem too marvelous to actually be us require courage. Courage was the first soul lesson that came out yesterday. And the day before that, fear came out in the same position. And I specifically stated that we replaced, you know, fear with courage. So I want to read that sentence again. Working with the shadow, the parts of us that we have deemed unlovable, or the parts that seem too marvelous to actually be us, requires courage. I did mention too that many of us sometimes fear success, fear being our greatest self. On a soul level, we know who we are and, what we're capable of and even our purpose, what we're here to do. But we let the limitations, the projections, of outside influences hold us back and keep us, stuck from, you know, being and doing that. Okay. That's the translation. The dark goddess will call you when your own shadow needs healing and integration. When something within is holding you back, when instead, if acknowledged and brought into the light of awareness, it could actually help you move forward. Often, the shadow element that needs integration when the dark goddess is present is power in some form or other. Child, listen. Last night, I want to read the book, but it's just certain things that's coming up that I have to speak on when I'm at that part. When the dark goddess is present, is power in some form or other. So yesterday, in yesterday's reading, the part where I was feeling down and I had to, lift myself up, get my energy back in check and all that. I ended up grabbing the power book off the shelf because I had a list inside of it. Go back and check out that reading if you want to find out what that was about. But the 48 Laws of Power is on my shelf. So last night I got the reminder text from Google Photos and my phone telling me about 5 years ago today, which was yesterday, March 17th, 2026, that I had taken a picture like the picture came up of, the house that I was living in at the time in Wilmington, Delaware. Had a My landlord, she had turned the kitchen into like a chalkboard, one of the walls, like, so over the kitchen and the wall, by the window in between the doorway was an actual chalkboard. So you can, write on it like a teacher writes on a chalkboard, erase it and so forth. So let me see if the picture is still there and if I can, show it, it'll make more sense and be even more believable. There it is. Look at that. It's still there. It's so crazy. So it says 5 years since. What does that say? Hold on. Please don't tell me it went away. Please don't tell me it went away. Because that is like so, so relevant. Please. Oh, I hate when that happens. Go back. That's so whack. I don't know. I hit the wrong button and I lost it. But I wrote it down too. But it would have been better if you could actually see what I wrote on the board. Let me see, is it archive? Is it in there? No, it's not. That's so whack. But the message was, how do I get back to it? That is so whack. They don't even have the memories thing that I'm looking for. I wrote it down though when I saw it yesterday. So basically, Pastor Jamal Bryant did a lecture on power. It was titled Power. And the five different um types of power, he broke it down. And I was looking for that lecture for the longest time after that, and I could not find it. I was so upset about it because I was like, the bars in that one were so, I took notes. But I wrote on the board power. Number one was coercive, like coercive power. Number two was reward. Number three was legitimate. Number four was referent. And number five was expert. And he expanded on each, type of power, what it was. And I had number three, legitimate, underlined or whatever. So basically, the picture of that came up. And also on the chalkboard next to it, I wrote the Reiki symbol of power. If you know what that is, I just drew it in the air. I had that written next to that message as well as like a electric bolt, like a lightning bolt, because those are things that you know represent power to me. And also, I didn't include this, but my friend Dunn, his brand the Power brand. He has the hats with the power symbol on it. I had one, and my mom bought one to support him. And I have both of them now hung up in the other room. But power stands for people overstanding where energy resides. So now that I done did all that, and I'm just making a connection. Look at her headpiece. The power symbol is right there too. And I wear that hat all the time, like when I'm going to the gym or when I'm running out, running errands, and I just want to throw on a dad hat because that's the style of hat that it is. You know, um, I'll throw that on to go run errands or go to the gym or whatever. Yo, this is deep. Part of me, if I'm a little, you know, hype right now, but I just can't. Like I can, but I can't. Back to the message. The synchronicities are deep. Okay. Often the shadow element that needs integration when the dark goddess is present is power in some form or other. It may be personal power, spiritual power, or your relationship to power that needs to change for you to blossom and for life and its gifts to manifest more abundantly for you. Becoming more powerful does not necessarily mean gaining more force. More often, for advanced souls, it actually means surrendering our will into alignment with greater forces of divine will, allowing us to consciously participate in the flow of life, sensing the signs and nudges that lead us towards our greatest manifestation of soul this lifetime. Divine will and this divine wisdom was the first thing that came out. Often, when we are reclaiming our power and defining for ourselves what it is to be powerful, we are confronted with fears of loss, failure, abandonment, and rejection. It can be painful at times, but accepting and releasing the pain brings such deep relief and happiness to the self. It is good to confront these fears with a loving and firm approach and be open to taking risk and growing anyway. This is what Isis, as the dark goddess, teaches us not to be afraid to go in the dark places and the difficult feelings within. They may seem ugly at first, yet, if we allow ourselves to go there with some conscious awareness in place, we can realize that these parts of us just need love and acceptance. And those parts that we once reviled, those parts that we once reviled often blossom and turn into our greatest assets in a more conscious, helpful version of themselves. We need radical trust to do this inner work and take her initiation. The dark goddess will support and nurture you through her tests as she guides you to receive the gift of more of yourself, no longer shackled in fear and hidden away, but ready to be in the world with brightness and vigor. Entering the inner chamber of the dark goddess, it is best to do this ritual either at night or in a room where you can pull down blinds and curtains and create a darkened physical space in which to rest. It doesn't have to be pitch black, but limited lighting will support your ritual process. You will need a small mirror and enough light to be able to just see your reflection. Sit or lay quietly in a position that is comfortable, where you can be relaxed but still alert. Falling asleep can be quite healing, but the intention, at least, is to be responsive in this ritual healing process in a conscious state. Sitting quietly, take your awareness into your heart and feel the warmth and love there. Say aloud, I open in unconditional love to my whole self and ask for healing, grace, and protection from those divine energies that love me unconditionally. Lightly hold the mirror and gaze at your reflection. Be comfortable and allow yourself to Soften your gaze, but really seek to look within your own eyes from a place of love. You deserve this without question. Say to yourself in the mirror, I love you enough to meet the parts of you that have been hidden away in fear, shame, guilt, or anger. I am not afraid of you. I am sorry for any time I have pulled back from you in fear. I am here with you now and I love you completely. I want you to feel whole and loved. You deserve to feel whole and loved. Will you let me love you in this way with the help of the goddess? Place the mirror down and close your eyes, going into your heart and listening for an answer. If you do not feel if you do not feel a yes within, then use the initiation listed below instead and come back to the ritual again and again over the coming days and weeks until you do receive a yes from within your own being. Be patient, trusting, and honest. When you are ready, the healing will happen far more quickly than if you were to try and make it happen before you are ready. If you do feel a yes from within, then continue the ritual. Okay? It's a lot of reading here. Let me see. This is a long one. And I'm feeling the need. Dang. I'm feeling like I need to read the whole thing only because of how it came to me today. And like I said, the last 12 to 24 hours, the synchronicities that have, been present. I usually wouldn't read this part. This would be for people that request, you know, a reading or a service or something like that. Then I will go into more depth with this part. But this is here for, who is here for. So I'm going to continue. If you do feel a yes from within, you then continue the ritual. If you are continuing the ritual, say aloud 3 times. I call forth the dark goddess in her form of unconditional love, compassion, healing, and support for my own spiritual growth now. I choose to enter your inner chamber for healing now. With your eyes closed, be aware of her presence in whatever way feels right for you, whether you just barely sense it or if it is very obvious to you. No matter how strongly you can recognize her presence, she will be with you in the most suitable way for you at that moment. Perceive that you are going within your heart into a dark and open space. Within that space, there is a doorway that leads into the inner chamber of the dark goddess. Imagine, sense, or feel yourself stepping through the doorway and into the inner chamber. It is barely visible, but you can feel your way inside. Rest one hand on your heart, and with the other hand, pick up the mirror again, holding it up to gaze softly at yourself deep into your eyes again and say, I love you. Please show me the parts of me that need to be brought to light now. Soften your gaze. Let your free hand rest on your heart as you look deep into your own eyes. Just notice without fear or judgment whatever you may feel, think, or however you may respond to this loving attention. You may feel anger, shame, sadness, doubt, or deep grief. You may feel a flash of hatred or deep fear or anxiety. You may have many thoughts trying to distract you from really seeing yourself. All these responses, any response is fine. Keep your hand on your heart and stay calm and breathe. You don't have to understand. Just stay with your heart and be loving enough of yourself that you allow whatever surfaces to surface without believing it, disbelieving it, analyzing it, or resisting it. Just experience it and then be in your heart again. When you are ready, gaze deeply into your own eyes in the mirror and say, I love all parts of me. I let go of shame, guilt, rage, fear, or anger that will hold me back now. I release trapped energy now that will help me move forward into wholeness through the unconditional love of the dark goddess. When you are ready, put down the mirror and close your eyes again. Perceive, sense, or intend that you are moving further into the inner chamber of the dark goddess now, descending deeper than you ever thought you could go. It becomes so dark you have no sense if there is endless space or not much space at all. It is just pure darkness, but it feels neutral and peaceful. Then you see a light. This light is beautiful and filled with love. Capture it into your hands and place it into your heart. Feel the warmth filling your heart as your awareness now returns completely to your physical body. When you are ready, just open your eyes. All right, so the incantation of the dark goddess is this incantation can be repeated several times, gaining speed as you get used to the words. Feel the energy in the words as you speak aloud. You can add it to the end of the ritual above, or if it is not the right time for you to complete the ritual, or you just choose a shorter healing process, you can use it on its own at any time. It is more effective if you take one moment to be in your heart, perhaps even placing your hand on your heart when repeating the incantation. So I'm going to do that. Okay, hand on my heart. Sublime Isis, dark and sweet, through you, my hidden self I meet. I honor this self and accept. No longer do I fear, shame, or reject. You gift me with myself complete, sublime Isis, dark and sweet. And that was on page 199. Okay, that incantation. All right, so I didn't know what to expect because I kind of just, sit down and just be present and let the cards speak. But with that, as all the readings have been doing lately, they've been just coming full circle, from where we start, the messages that I pick up intuitively, and then the oracle messages that are in closing. My lips look a little ashy. All that talking. We almost at an hour and a half. I haven't done a reading this long in a while. And I'm considering doing one for my other channel, Experience Black TV, to promote this channel and the website. So, with that being said, if you're someone who comes across this message and could use some additional assistance to my subscribers, I offer um, a reading with a consultation as well as what is the other one titled? Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. You go to the website. All right, so this is the Empress tools, okay, on the website. We have Saturn up here. You go to home. We have Empress tools and book and shop. We have the Empress Beauty Boutique and earn loyalty rewards and all of that. Okay, this is the video that is presently live right now. And this is our archives. So if you want to check out, you know, what we posted recently, you can find that here and some other resources here. This is the personalized reading with the consultation. I have limited availability with that. But if you go click on Saturn at the top page, it'll take you here to Visionary Files. You can check out the amazing Shabazz the OG, author, speaker, coach, and mentor from the Money Team Motivator. And if you click this, it'll take you to his website where you can purchase his book, his 3 to 30 seconds handbook. I have more information about it here. Mastering, critical thinking in 3 to 30 seconds is so important and essential for all of us, in these days and times, of course, where life will test us. Okay. Here is a collection of about 200 videos or so, of things to get a greater understanding of, his thought process, his mindset, his perspective on, different current events and questions and so forth that people ask. But this is also where you join us on March 30th at 3:30 for the first annual Global Moment to Pause. You can find out more information about that via this video here, but we also have that posted on our homepage at the Empress Network at empressblack.com. This was a promotional video for Flip Your Life. I have my copy here, the original classic softback version, but I have this, the audio book, as well. And I'm gonna get the hardback. I'm gonna get it autographed one day. But for now we rocking out with what we got. So all of that can be found on his website if you want to purchase a copy. But this is also a playlist. If you click on here, this was previously our headlining collection on the Empress network, but it only holds about 5,000 videos. So via the website, you can only access the top 200 here. But this is, from the different podcasts, shows, documentaries, music videos, um, just all of what I've been collecting over the years and so forth. You can find that here. So motivational content and so forth. But we have that. This is my collection here of, what I do behind the chair. Okay. So, you know, um, reviews as well as before and after videos of my work. Okay. You can check that out here. And the beauty services that I have available, you can book here also. We have, this is body work and fitness training. So we have a collection of videos here. So for fitness, personal training, the God Body, Mike Rashid. We also have some yoga from Stretch It, fitness videos for our feminines. And, stretching is for everybody. So is weight training. But they're just led by, them. And these are some music, a music collection, Miss Black Vibes too. The first list tapped out, it's like 5,000 videos, but this here is the most recent 200 videos of the second collection. So, you know, all of that is here. Of course, getting your billboard bag, you can get that here. This is the PDF for the Banker's Code, the most powerful wealth building strategies ever known. And what I came here for, the Zoom personal reading. There it is. I couldn't remember what I labeled it as, but this isn't available anywhere else. This link is, you know, available within the site. If I decide to promote it in like the description box and videos that I might share publicly in the future, then of course you'll be able to find it there. But I wanted to focus to have this more for, the collective that resonates with me as a way, the Zoom personal readings to be able to dive a little deeper to kind of support and help you to get the clarity that you may need. Um, with doing personal readings, they can be a little bit more draining and taxing on your energy, depending on what you may have going on. So that's why I'm so selective with, offering it, but, via Zoom, especially. So that's actually 144 is a pretty decent deal. With this one, you can book it according to the times that I have available. And this one you can purchase it. It's going to be recorded and sent to you. So these are the different options that I have for readings. The only options, I'm not promoting anything anywhere else. I have been considering, potentially in the future doing something with TikTok, in this regard. If I do, this will still be the only way that I'll be offering personal readings. I wouldn't, promote it or, try to get people to do it. It's like you have to come to me for this because I do so much other stuff. I have businesses in the health and beauty space with as a service provider, and I also have products in retail. I'm also growing and expanding my business and financial literacy with, insurance and investments and so forth. So I'm pretty busy, So when it comes to the spiritual work, that can be, like I said, pretty taxing on my energy. I'm doing that more selectively, and I'm not promoting, to people that, you know, that's what I do. You have to come to me for that. All right. Under here, you can find some more of my recent posts, my confident journey for Ramadan 2026. This is where, a collection of what I've had going on via Ramadan, which is, coming to an end tomorrow. So yeah, with that, this is more meditations, a list of inspirational, uplifting music, instrumentals, and so forth that, I'll go to when that's what I'm looking for. That's what I need. Okay. So, yeah, all of that is here. Okay. And sometimes I play these in the background when I do readings and so forth. But this is what you can find here when you click on Saturn. It's titled Visionary Files, and I update this as often as, I need to. All right. So that's that. And yeah, let me go ahead and work on what's next because I have a lot to get done. I have some people to contact, some prospects, and so forth, and just promotional stuff before I get back to the salon tomorrow. I have appointments on my calendar and so forth. So I had a couple days to kind of, you know, go through my womanly cycle and, process all this energy. And I'm so grateful for that, being able to do that in this home, my safe space where, my energy isn't being attacked, etc. Okay. And I'm ending my days drained and feeling unproductive and unfulfilled and unhappy. So I'm grateful that I was able to work from home. And, now that when I go back to work to the salon to serve my beautiful clients, I'll be recharged, feeling good, and I'm not stressing about, what I didn't get done. Okay. Well, that was a little bit about what's going on here. And God willing, inshallah, tomorrow we'll pick back up. And I think I'm going to end this series on Friday. I was, getting in my mind that it should probably be 10 because the number 10 has been coming up here recently for me, which is also the acronym for the Empress Network. So I think this series is going to have 10 videos, and then we're going to move on to what's next, especially after today's reading. Like, yeah, I think this is kind of like letting us know that, you know, the messages that we needed to get here in this series, are there. So it's been unfolding gradually. Um, and I'm grateful that you've been able to, kind of get a glimpse of me, sticking to a routine, not necessarily a set time every day, but daily posting and seeing me when my energy is high and when it's not so high. Because the reality is, as amazing as some people may think that I am and believe that I am. And I know on a soul level that I am because of God, and the God within me, but I'm still human. I'm very human. And I go through all of the emotions, the ups and downs, and, just real life, hormonal changes as a woman and having to manage and process that all while still working and getting it all done. So you got to see that, and I've been transparent with it. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop saying so and get on getting on. Till next time. Peace and love.